Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of
Milf
Talk. Today we're going to be digging right into postpartum.
All right, guys. So we're gonna start the conversation off with postpartum, but I came across the post on Facebook, and let me read y'all what it say, and then y'all give me y'all feedback on it. So this guy on Facebook, he wrote, "Postpartum ain't shit, but y'all females failing to realize y'all mothers now, and it's time to grow up." So me personally, I took offense to it because I went through postpartum. So it was like, I don't even know.
What do we
like,
need to grow up about?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we realize that we're mothers, but like you have to like, I feel like men need to educate themselves on postpartum because I think it's a lot of men who think that postpartum depression is specific. It's fake. Like I went through the comments and most of the men was like, postpartum depression is fake. Females just be trying to find an excuse. Blase.
Excuse to do and say and like
excuse
what do
to
they
be
mean?
Excuse
for what?
Cry. I don't think that's an excuse. So I just wrote a post and I'm like educating on men on what postpartum depression is. And I think most men have to like realize that we get a rise of hormones during pregnancy. 24 hours after pregnancy, after birth, those hormones drop and it can lead to depression.
Or my question to those men is the women who go through postpartum depression and kill themselves, commit suicide, do they think they need to just stop and grow up? Like, it's a serious thing. Some people, they have a mild case, then you have the extreme case where people are taking their lives, or not even their own lives, but the child's life. They harm the child. Like, do you feel as though that's a joke? Like, oh, I'm gonna do this for attention? Like, it's not. That's something serious. Like, I take offense to it because I've been through it. Well, we all have been through it, but it's other severe cases where it was just like, wow, like somebody really harmed another, like somebody that they birthed. Did your spouse know about postpartum prior to y'all having children, or they just knew about it once after you started experiencing it?
No, he knew about it after, and I think my postpartum lasted for 2 years. He didn't know at all the first year. He didn't know until the second year, until like I communicated that to him. He just literally thought something like he knew something was wrong with me, but he didn't know what. This was like, why are you acting like this? Like, what is wrong with you? He didn't know. Like, and the doctors and the nurses didn't like tell us, oh, watch out for this after birth, like, you know, like, or say to him like she might be like this after, like, so we didn't expect no postpartum depression, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if Terry knew. I never even asked him. I think he was aware of some emotional roller coasters can happen after birth, but I don't know if he knew to pinpoint like, okay, this is postpartum depression. And then even if he did know, I'm pretty sure he didn't know like how to take it because this is his first time being a father as well as my first time being a mother. So I think we were both versions with the whole postpartum depression.
Right. And I don't think it's talked about enough either. Like a lot of people don't talk about it. Doctors don't tell you about it. Nurses, I don't feel like nobody really talks about it, and it's such a serious thing. And I think a lot of people go through it and they just sweep it under the rug because they don't know what it is. Like, you know. And I think it really needs to be it needs to be recognized, and we need to have something for it because there are literally mothers out here, like Ashley said, killing themselves, or they give birth and they want nothing to do with their child at all. Like, so, and it's not because they don't want to, like, they're really going through something. This is really a mental, like, illness that women go through and that people just don't understand. So, I want to switch gears a little bit. I want us to talk about our postpartum depression experience. I want people that's listening to be able to relate to us and to know that it's a way out, because a lot of people don't see no way out. I know for me, I didn't see a way out. I ain't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't see it. I thought I was stuck. So yeah, I guess I can go first, I guess. So like I said, my postpartum lasted for 2 years. I didn't know that I was depressed. I'd never been depressed before, so I didn't know what it felt like, what it looked like, nothing, or signs to look out for, or anything. And I think too, like I was stressed. I think a lot of things triggered my postpartum depression too. I think it was like stress. I had a baby in the NICU. I had complications during my pregnancy, family drama. It was just a lot going on around that time that I think triggered my depression also. But for me, I was just like crying every day, and I didn't know why. I didn't want to do my hair. I didn't want to take pictures. I just didn't feel like myself. I didn't want to take pictures. I didn't want to go out with my friends. I didn't want to go out with my boyfriend. I just wanted to be in the house, in my bed, sleep with my child. If I like when she came home, when she was in the NICU, I just wanted to be at the NICU every day. It was just hard. Like I went home without a baby, and it's like that was hard.
And I don't think people get how that feels. When you go in pregnant and you leave out without a baby, that's the worst feeling in the world.
It's so hard.
That's the worst feeling.
Like you come home to all this baby stuff, and it's like I don't have a baby.
Wow.
And I know for me, like with Crozier, like they didn't have 24 hours. Right here, a lot of other NICUs had 24 hours, so it was like I could be there for like certain amount of times, and I had to go home. So I'm like up during the night calling, like, is she okay? Did she gain weight? Like I'm missing all, like, you know, and like I feel like I'm missing out on stuff with her. Like she's doing little things while I'm not there. Like I don't know. I just feel like I missed so much with her being in the NICU for a whole like month and a half that moms that had that baby like at 40 weeks, they enjoyed that. I don't know. It was just hard.
So share with everyone, when did you actually have Zori?
So I had Zori at 31 weeks. I had her early because of complications with my placenta. So basically, my placenta wasn't giving her enough nutrients she needed, so she wasn't growing. So she came out 1 pound 13 ounces. But thankfully, like she didn't have any real complications. We really just had to wait for her to get to 4 pounds to come home. And like literally, as soon as she hit 4 pounds, we took her home. It's like the best day like ever. But for my NICU moms, like I feel for you. And I know how it is to not go home with a baby, how stressful it is. And yeah.
How did you get out of it?
So it was hard. I was really in denial at first. I didn't want to, I knew like it was something wrong with me, but I didn't know what. And I think the day I found out was because I would like hide from like Eben that I was going through something. Like I would literally go out to my car and cry. Like he didn't even know the first year. Like he knew like I just wasn't being myself, but he didn't know I was crying every day. Like I would get in the shower and cry. Like it was just a lot. I felt like I wasn't like connecting with Zori or anything. And one day I was in my car and I just kept saying to myself, like, what is wrong with you? Like, what's wrong? I just kept saying it to myself, like, what's wrong with you? And I don't know, something just came in my head. I was like, you depressed, girl. Like, something just came in my head and said that. And I was like, I need to get help. But I'm like, I didn't want to get help from nobody because I didn't want nobody to feel like I wasn't capable of taking care of my child because I was going through something. So it was like, I didn't want to tell nobody. I didn't want to go to therapy. I didn't want to tell no doctors. I just was like, let me just try to stick it out by myself. And I feel like it just got worse. And I was like, I can't take it no more because I feel like it's putting a strain on my relationship and a strain on my, like, with my daughter. Like I was just always snapping. My fuse was just so short. Like, it was just a mess. And I just was saying how bad it got. And then I was like, let me go to therapy. So I went to therapy and it helped me out a lot. It helped me get through it.
I think you're, sometimes you don't really know like the strength that you have until you're put into the situation. And I know like I personally didn't reach out to you when I was in like with Robert the NICU or our cousin Khalees, which I knew y'all had first experience, but I would tap into y'all. Like I would like, if T could do it, if Khalees could do it, I can get through this. Like I can do it. Like I would think of y'all a lot. Like I can't imagine how they did this. Like, you know, like how did they even get through this? And you know, I knew I should have probably reached out because y'all would have helped me and be like, you can do this, you can do that. But like, even just knowing that I see, you know, the import of y'all, you know, getting out of the NICU and making it, like, that would give me strength too, to know, like, I knew somebody that went through this personally and it's going to be okay. So,
but you know, even like having somebody to connect with helps out too, because like being a NICU mom is different because, like you said, you don't have a lot of people to relate to. Like, I can't call somebody who never been a NICU mom because you can't relate to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was talking to certain people. It's like it's gonna be okay. Like, don't tell me that because it's not gonna be. I can't take my baby home. Like, her first 2 weeks, I could not hold my child. Like, do you know how hurtful that is? Like, I walk in this room and you tell me that I can't hold my child. Like, I gotta open this incubator and hold her finger. Like, it was so hurtful. So like the first day we were able to hold her, it was like the best feeling. Like, me and Evan was fighting. Like, I'm holding her. No, I'm holding her first. So like, it was crazy. Like, and the first time I saw my kid was through a glass. Like, they brought me out of surgery. They're like, do you want to see her? It was through a glass window. And it's crazy because I don't even remember it. Somebody, my stepmom sent me a picture. Was like, yeah, this is the first time you saw her. And I'm like, I don't even like remember stopping and seeing her at all. So it was like, I don't know, just talking to moms who had their kids full term, it wasn't helpful for me. So for my NICU moms, like, try to find moms who you know you can connect with, because it really will help you through your journey. Because even though Zori was in the NICU for a month and a half, it felt like eternity. It felt like it was so long, and I'm like, when is this going to be over? Like, when is she going to come home? Like, you know?
Yeah. That was thank you for sharing that. That was
girl.
Very, very touching. I had also a NICU baby. My son came at 37 weeks. And I see people now be like, I don't want that bad, you know, energy with people telling me their story. That's their story. And I don't even know if I felt like that, but I didn't really hear a lot of people talking about postpartum because I didn't know anybody directly that went through it, because I didn't even know T had went through it. I mean, I had a good pregnancy. You know, I love my belly. I love having it out. I was like, golly, like, I never seen you this happy. I love being pregnant. So I was shocked, like, when they were like, oh no, you got gestational hypertension. I'm like, who? Like, I don't even live an unhealthy lifestyle. Like, how did I get this? So then I had to deliver him early. And he was fine. Like, he came out 6 pounds. He was healthy. And then one day, Rob's like, not one day, the next day, Rob's like, he's just jittery. Like, he's too jittery. And I'm like, well, the nurse said that's just like a transit phase. Like, babies go through that. Like, it's fine. And he's like, nah, like, something is up with him. So I like asked the nurse, I'm like, do you think he's more jittery? She was like, I don't, you know, I think that babies go through that. So I don't know. She had to take him out for something. And she was like, it was an older nurse. And she's like, for good measures, I just checked his blood sugar, and the room was packed with people coming to see Rob. And she was like, his blood sugar is like 27. I was like, because I'm a nurse, I was like, 27. She's like, it's okay, Mom. We're going to feed him. Because he wasn't latching on. So that was a whole nother thing. He wasn't feeding. And I was like, started beating myself up about it. Like, this happened because I just should have given a formula. I should have been not so adamant about breastfeeding him. And then I was like, I'm a nurse. Like, how didn't I see that? How didn't I see the signs of hypoglycemia? And his dad did. Like, Rob had to, like, get me together with that, because I beat myself up a lot about that. Because I'm like, if Rob didn't notice that and didn't speak up, because I'm entertaining a room full of people, we're all happy. Like, he could have had a seizure with his blood sugar going that low, and then we would have been into something else. So then they took him to the NICU. And then what I thought would be like, oh, he's going to stay overnight for observation, was a month in a NICU. And like T said, that day leaving a hospital, I don't think they prepare you for that. Like, leaving a hospital without a baby, like, walking out, you know, you had this bundle of joy. I have a baby bag, all this stuff. And now I'm just walking out with a baby bag, like, and just looking around, like, what do I do? So then I went home and just cry. I mean, I cried in the NICU when I had to leave him there, but it was the thought of another person is bonding with my child he's going to know her voice before my voice. Like, she knows how to feed him because he struggled with like feeding when he first was born. Like, she can feed him more than I, she knows the techniques, and I don't even know how to feed my own child. And I struggled with production of milk. That was because I wasn't eating. I would go to the NICU 8:00 in the morning. I leave till 11:30, eat one pack of crackers and drink a water bottle because I didn't want to leave him and you couldn't eat in there. So I would just sneak and eat my crackers and sit there with him the whole time. So that was just like, it was just a lot because I'm still trying to heal, my body trying to heal. I'm sitting in an uncomfortable chair that whole time, and just he had hyperinsulinism. So we were trying to figure out like, how can we maintain his blood sugar? Because we were just living from feed to feed. So he would eat at 8, then eat at 11. We would be waiting to see what the blood sugar was. If it was low, then he would have to go up on his IV medication. And then one day they called, they're like, well, we got to insert an NG tube. So then I'm like, oh God, like we're moving backwards. And then at one point the doctor was like, we're at a standstill. So like, you have to make a decision. Like, do you want to transfer him out? And like, that was hard because I'm like, you have a new baby. I should be deciding whether I'm going to put the Jordan socks on him or the Nike socks, not like whether I got to transfer him to Christiana or AI or Children's. And then they're telling me this medication that he's taking has complications with his heart that could be long lasting. So I'm just like, what do I do? Like, you're giving me really nothing to do with this. So like, my child's first ride in the car wasn't home in the car with me. It was in a medical ambulance to another hospital. And I'm trying to catch him and catch the ambulance and can't even catch him. But that's neither here nor there. But so then he goes to another hospital, and we end up being able to regulate his blood sugar with the medicine. And thank God he's okay. But it's like, I went through that phase of postpartum where it was like, I couldn't hear another child's voice, and I love my niece so much, and I couldn't even talk to Monty. Like, I just couldn't hear children. Children would trigger me because it was like, I don't have my child, so it would be hard for me to talk to people. Thank God for my cousin Kenya. She's a nurse practitioner, and she called me one day, and she literally was like, are you okay? Like, you're going through a lot. This was all so sudden. It wasn't expected. You didn't have a complicated pregnancy. Like, you need to tell me, do you need help? Like, do you need help? And I just started crying. Me and my mom was in big class, and I was just like bawling to her about everything. And she's like crying on the other end, and we're just like crying together. And that really helped, like, with somebody just realizing, like, maybe I need to see if she needs more. But then once I brought him home, I felt bad because my postpartum switched, because now I got him home and I don't know what to do with him. I can't feed him. He won't go to sleep. And first of all, every time I went to the NICU, this boy would sleep peacefully. They'll be like, he's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. The day I left, they was like, oh, well, he be in the hallway all night with the nurses holding him. Who? Robert Red Jr.? Because y'all didn't tell me that the whole time he been in the NICU. So now I got to be at home. He's crying nonstop. I have to hold him all night. Me nor his father don't know what to do with him. Sometimes he is, sometimes he not. Then we can't figure out how to get the blood sugar, because for a baby, the prick is different than an adult. It's on his heel. We're not figuring that out. I just was like, I cannot do this. One time I almost got in the car and never came back. I was like, for real, because I can't. Like, I would go to Walmart and just walk around like it was KOP, like literally there for hours. They probably thought I was stealing, because I would leave out with a Reese cup and just have a card. It was just crazy, but it was just like, how do I get out of this? And like, my mom and my sister and Rob and everything, by them helping me out more, I was able to get more like myself. And then COVID happened when I thought I was getting out of it. And then I don't know if it was COVID and postpartum together, but it's just like the anxiety you feel of it, seeing people so sick without their family members. And I'm worried if I'm gonna get him sick, because when you leave a NICU, they tell you if he gets sick, he coming back here. He can't go back to regular force. So I don't know, the way that I kind of feel like I got out of postpartum depression and COVID depression, because it ended up overlapping, is I had to cut back with work and then just try to focus and do something for myself, even if it's like once a week, every 2 weeks. My mom, she's amazing. She'll take him just so I can sleep over, sleep a good night's sleep, because my son is 1 and still don't sleep. So if anybody got any tips in the comments, please let me know. How do you get a 1-year-old to sleep all night and on a schedule? Please.
They're going to take melatonin.
Melatonin or not crying out.
When
Those are the two. Don't put it in the
comments.
I'm not doing melatonin and he's not crying it out. So
oh my God.
Any other suggestions, please. But I think you really just have to start just doing something for yourself. If it's something small, just take time out for yourself. And that's really like the only way I got out of in prayer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And before Ashley go, I just want to say too, like, if you are experiencing postpartum depression, one thing you have to do is talk about it and talk through it. Because when you don't talk about it, or you don't, what word am I trying to look for? I can't find the word I'm trying to look for.
Let it out? I don't know.
Not let it out, but accept it. Accept the fact that you're going through this and work through it. You're never going to get through it. Because I know for me, like I kept saying, I'm going to get through this. I'm good. I'm strong. Like, I know I'm going to get through this. But I really, because I wasn't like talking about it. I wasn't like admitting the fact that I was really going through this and like trying to figure it out. I'm like just trying to tough it out, but it get worse. Like, if you don't like try to talk it out to somebody, like if you gotta scream about it, do something, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you gotta really like,
and you can journal. Ashley had suggested that to me, journaling. Yeah, I'm not the best and consistent with it, but that's another way to get it out.
I like journaling now. Then I couldn't do it. It would be tears. That page would be filled with tears if I tried to journal them. But
I used to tell Courtney, write it down. You will text and write it down, whether you crying or not. You can't
write
see the
it down. Yeah,
right. Just write. Still write.
Yeah, writing it down is letting it out too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting it out too. And I don't know if y'all experienced this either. Like, I experienced like weight loss. Like, I looked anorexic. Like, and it got to the point like people be like, "You look sick," and I'd be ready to cry because it's like, I know, like, I can't control. Like, don't say that to me. Like, that. Don't say that to a mom. Like, if somebody just had a baby and they look, don't say, like, that's so.
Whether they look big or small, don't say
like,
it.
Don't
say nothing.
Nothing. Like, it was so rude. Like, you look anorexic or you look sick, and I'm just like, yeah. So I could say, like, holding back my tears at the same time. Like, yeah, like, I look in the mirror and I ready to cry every day about it. Like,
yeah.
But go ahead, Ashley. Care about your experience.
Well, I don't have a NICU baby, but I feel like half of my depression started before I even had my child, my daughter. And it's because I was overdue, and my due date was July 28th. I didn't have her until August 4th. And it would have been August 6th, maybe 7th, if I didn't go to the hospital when I did. But I just started becoming depressed and shutting down and just like in my feelings because I couldn't tell you what my body was doing. So I was contracting. I remember I didn't even go to sleep and I was contracting and I was just so excited. I'm like, babe, I think it's time. Called the doctor. She said, oh, well, wait it out. Just like, all right, whatever. So later on that day, I stopped contracting, which was weird to me. Usually they don't keep you unless you are like literally about to push. So thank God they kept me. The guy was like, so this is what we're going to do. He said, you have two options. You either go home and go into labor at home because you're not dilating. And I'm just like, I'm sick of hearing it. Like, it's past July 28th. What's going on with my body? But he said, you're not dilating yet, or you can stay here and we'll surgically open your cervix. I don't know if y'all know the process, but basically what they do is they put a, for lack of a word, a bag, or it's like a something rubber in you and fill it up with,
like a balloon almost.
Yeah, like a balloon. Thank you. A balloon. They put it in you and they fill it up with water. And one side is inside, on top of your cervix, and the other side is hanging, so it could basically pull it through. He said it's painful, but what more pain can you be in? You're about to, have a baby. She finally came. the pushing and the labor and delivery, I would do it all over again. It was so beautiful. I was laying in a hospital bed and Terry was on the side of me. And I don't know if I fell asleep or I actually saw this. So the black image just standing at the door and I got scared. And so I'm just like, just started praying and everything and just asking God, like, whatever is going on, like, take it away. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on. And then I woke up and the nurse came in, gave me back Mila or whatever. Never got no sleep. So I think I was just sleep deprived also. But when I got home, it was just like, I just did not feel right. Like after seeing that, I didn't feel right. It was other things, personal things going on with like family and everything. So it was just like, I just didn't feel right. So coming home, like I didn't know whether I wanted to be happy, excited, like she's finally here. I'm a mother. Like, I just didn't know how to feel. It was just so confusing to me. I just felt like this rush of emotions come to me. And it was just like, what is going on? Went downstairs, locked myself in the bathroom, and I just cried my eyes out. And it was just like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm looking in the mirror, like, why are you crying? What's going on? Couldn't explain it to myself. So it's just like, I really can't explain it to nobody else. So I'm just like, all right, let me get myself together so I could go back out here and be a mother. Like Courtney said, I don't know this child. She doesn't know me. Like,
this girl is totally different.
Yes, like what the heck is going on? So I'm just like, I went to my mom, grabbed Mila, and I walked in our family room and I just like stood there and I just bawled. And she was like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I said, I think it's postpartum depression. And she was like, well, I Googled it and it said it only lasts for like 1 day. And I'm just like, no, you can't do that. Like, no, there's no limit on this. But
do you think that's because in the Black community we shy away from depression?
Yeah, like, I feel like a lot of that is swept under the rug. Or if my mom personally with me, she was a single mother. So she was doing everything by herself. So whether she had some feelings towards something else or not something else, but toward like if she had postpartum depression, she probably just was like, I have to still get up, dust myself off and work hard for my child, me and my child. If she did go through it, it's only because she didn't acknowledge it because she didn't either know it or because she didn't have time to really sit in that depression.
And when I went to the doctor, they were like, our doctor is Black. And she was like, you don't got depression. Because I was like, I'm depressed because I need to stay home more. I've really only been home with my child for 2 weeks. She was like, I think you have situational depression because your child was sick. And I'm like,
yeah, no,
I have postpartum depression. It's situational. Yeah. You don't need no medicine for that. Once he get home and you get in a routine, you're going to be good. And it's like.
And that's another reason why I didn't want to go to the doctors. I don't want you to tell me that I got to go on medicine. Like, that makes somebody crazy. Like, what's really wrong? I got to be on medication for me to be able to function and take care of my kid. Like, that makes somebody feel even worse. Like, and that was another reason I didn't want to go to the doctor. Like, oh, yeah, I'm depressed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, just take this medicine and go ahead. Like, no. Like, or I don't like the fact that they give you surveys. Like, I'm a liar on it, right? I'm going to put 10 for everything. Like, not going to tell, like, like, come on. Like,
and that's how it was for me. Like, I would go to go to the doctor, and they gave me the survey, and I was just like, everything is fine. But in reality, it wasn't. Like, my hair was falling out. And not only was it me picking myself apart, but when I went back to work or when I would go out, everybody else would pick me apart. I remember this one girl said, yeah, girls make you ugly, don't they? And it was just like, why? Because my skin did like a whole 180. Like it literally, I was just very emotional, would cry in a drop of a dime. I remember I told Terry, I'm like, when you come home, like I would want you to spend more time with me, or I would want you to help me out. And I remember he came home and it was just like he took the baby and we were just sitting there and it just was not good enough for me. And I don't know what it was that wasn't good enough for me. And I just walked away, cried, and could not get myself together. Like I don't know. It was just so much. But like Courtney said, I would go to Target and it'll just be like a
long you bougie, you went to
trip.
Target, huh?
I went to Target.
The ratchets, we go to Walmart.
I love
but yeah, like I would go there and it like one time it was just like I gotta go. I told him, I'm like, I gotta go to Target. Like literally had to go to Target for nothing. But it was just the whole ride there. I was crying. Then it would just be like my family would be like, yeah, your attitude, you gotta be careful what you say to people, or you doing too much. And it's just like, that's not the thing. Like, you don't know what I'm going through on the inside. Like, you can't say you need to fix your attitude. I can't even fix my attitude because I don't know myself. And then that's another thing, like body changing. Like I said, my skin was bad. My hair was falling out. It was just like,
my hair fell out.
I can't control this. I cannot control it. I could not control what was going on with me. And that's one thing that really triggered my depression. It was just like, what the heck is going on with my body? I'm just glad to have identified with the fact that I was depressed, and I'm glad to be out of it because that was the darkest year I ever prayed. I prayed myself up out of that, and I embraced it. I embraced the fact that my body is going to be different. I embraced the fact that my hair is falling out, but I made my HD2F secret formula. It came back, the plug. But I made that, like it I don't know, it helped me grow my business. Like a lot of good came out of it. And I was able to relate to different people that I couldn't relate to before. And it actually showed me people's true colors. I don't know.
What color was they?
Huh?
What color were they?
Doodle brown.
But do y'all ever see like a lot of people don't make it past a year? Like you'll see somebody, they'll be together and they'll have a kid, and like the first year birthday, they ain't even together no more. And like I used to like, golly, man, people don't be staying together because it's hard. Like it ain't no joke.
After birth. Like I don't think men realize how much your body just does a whole 360 after birth. And not to take away from guys, because guys can also go through postpartum. Like that's a real thing too. So not to say that guys can't go through, we go through, but we just gave birth to a whole human being. I don't think they really know what that's like. And to just have all these hormones rise and just drop. Like, it's like, what the heck? Like,
and not only the hormones, everything. It's just like, then we got to really snap back and no, not your body. We got to snap back into reality. So everything that we dealing with on the outside of home and the inside, that all still falls on our shoulders. And it's like you said, don't take away from the fathers, because thank God he blessed me with a great husband and he's a great father. And when I was going through that, and when I was going through that, it was just like he adapt to it. It was just like, all right, whatever you need, I'll do it. You want to talk, I'll listen. You want this, I'll make it. You want that, I'll buy it. Like,
but I think sometimes the men are forgotten because, just like you said, Terry never been a father before, so this is something new for him. Everybody asking about Ashley and the baby. They asked for the baby.
They ain't asked for me.
Or the baby. But like it's emotions for them as well. And I mean, even with us going back and forth, with to the NICU and stuff, and like Rob, like you feel hopeless, like you don't know what to do. We don't know what answers are the right answers or making the right decisions. So they go through, like T said, men can go through postpartum also.
Yeah, I was definitely like real appreciative of Eben, like, because he could have easily just left. Because like I was literally so miserable, and like it probably was bringing him down too. I don't know, but I just couldn't do it, and I just don't think, like, at first I don't think he realized. Like I said, I don't think he realized how bad it was until like he actually started seeing me cry. Like one day, like we was going back and forth, he just kept saying, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I'm depressed. You don't understand." And he was sitting there looking at me like, you're
she crazy.
Like, that's how he was looking at me, like, and still to this day, he'll laugh about it. He'll be like, remember that time we were in the kitchen? You was like, you have no breast! You are my balance! And I was like, not funny. It's really not funny. Because I was like really bawling my eyes out. But like I said, I'm like real thankful that he was able like to stick it out like for me and for Zori and not walk away like through such a tough time for me, and it was a tough time for him too. So like I said,
yeah, and I feel like also with family of guys that are having babies, like support them, because like, okay, yeah, we definitely need support. We're gonna have our moms and stuff to support us, but like they also need support. They need people checking in on them. They need people being like, hey man, you know, do y'all need anything? Like, you know, do y'all want to get out? You know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, you gotta definitely check on our guys as well.
So I want to ask y'all a question. So did y'all experience like, I don't know if this is a thing. I don't want to say postpartum anxiety because I don't know if that's a real thing. But did y'all have like anxiety separation? I know after Zori, I had really, really bad separation anxiety. Like even with Eben, like I did not want him to leave the hospital. Like I would cry. Like, can you please just come back? He like, I'm coming. Like I'm just went home to get change of clothes, to get a shower. Like I'm like, he would come back. I'm like, you lay in the bed with me. He like, we both can't lay in this bed. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I want you in the bed with me. Like, come on. Like, I would literally cry. Like, even with Zori, like, I would cry. Like, I just wanted her. I wanted to be next to her when she came home. Like, wasn't nobody watching her. Like, I wanted her home with me. Even still to this day, I have really bad separation anxiety.
I remember you came to my mom's house one time and she had to eat. And you was like, I'm just going to feed her because I know how she eat. And sometimes she don't be eating like in her brother.
I'm telling you, like, I was
like, girl was like, let's give her back the baby.
Now, I was like that with everybody. Like, I would not let nobody feed Zori. But with her first thing was I didn't let nobody feed her because she was like she was eating real weird. Like, it was like, I don't know, like, she just wouldn't eat. And I just like had to like, me and Evan was the only people that really knew how to like finesse like getting her to eat. So like I wouldn't let nobody feed her because I had to make sure she was eating. But yeah, I had really bad separation anxiety, and I think that triggered from the NICU too. I don't know where it came from because I was never like that. Like I always just wanted space, but whew.
I definitely had it, especially.
I was scared because my mom struggled with getting Rob's blood sugar, so then I would have to be at work at 6. So I'm trying to micromanage everybody. So from the time I got to work to like 9, I was not resting. I'm always looking at my phone, waiting for her to text me what the blood sugar was. Sometimes I would have to tell Rob, you gotta leave work, get there, get the blood sugar, then making sure she knew how to give him the medicine, make sure she drew up the right amount. I would make her show me like a couple times. Let me see how you draw it up. And make sure we're at the right mark. And then I struggle with like, well, what if his blood sugar went low? You know, would she know what signs to look for? And then they had to show us how to give him like his emergency glucagon, and she really wasn't confident on how to give it. And I'm like, she's like, well, I would just call somebody to come over. Mom, in a matter of emergency, I don't have time for you to call somebody to come over. But thank the Lord we never had to use it. But I was just so scared, like, I don't want us to miss anything, but God is good. We never had any issues when it came to something like that. So that was where mine was. Crazy. Yeah. You're so crazy.
So why would you do that?
Hallelujah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Make some noise. If it's your birthday, make some noise. If it's your birthday, make some noise. If it's your birthday,
I can't believe y'all. So y'all was
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you, Eb.
He was
you about to cry.
No, I'm like, he was white. I'm like, why he got the balloons in his hand? Like, what is he doing? Like, I'm not recording. He walking over here smiling at me. I'm like, what are you doing? Hold on, it's mine.
It was
like,
So I'm happy that we were able to share our postpartum experiences with you guys. We want to end this episode with some encouraging words to moms who may be going through postpartum right now. A couple things I want to say is, pray, talk to people, like Ashley said, write in your journal. We're here if you want to DM us personally through Milf Talk. We're more than happy to talk with you and help you through it, because like we all said, we've all been through and we know what it's like to not have somebody there or not have somebody to relate to. But I want to say that you will get through it. It will be hard. It is a really dark and lonely place, but pray and you will get through it. Do you have anything to say?
I guess I would just say motherhood is definitely a marathon, not a race. So, sis, you got this. You can do this. God intended our body to give life and to nurture children. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't give up. You got it, sis.
Just write everything down. It is an emotional roller coaster. We can't control it. And that's normal. Even though it's something different, we just have to embrace it. I always say, embrace your newness. You can't go back to your old self. Just embrace and welcome the new you. Just pray for the best and just stay encouraged. It's going to get better.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap it up. As you guys can see, we got the birthday balloon.
We got
If it's your birthday, make some noise. If it's your birthday, make some noise. Ooh, ooh. So, guys, that's the end of our discussion on postpartum depression. We hope that this was an eye-opener, encouraging video. We hope to see you guys next week on Milf Talk Monday. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Please, please, please. Love you guys for watching.
See you guys next week.